Letchworth Garden City was an experiment. It was the first of its kind in the world. It brought the town into the country, and it brought the country into the town. It was trying to make a decent environment for working people so that their children could go to school, they could play, they could run, and the parents could have a short journey to and from work, often factory work. The town also was addressing a big social problem which was very apparent at the beginning of the 20th century when Letchworth Garden City was founded, and that was alcohol. Cheap gin was ruining many people's lives in the big cities. Mothers were just lying in the gutter with their babies screaming and unfed. Husbands would come home from work, just go straight to the pub and start bashing their wives when they got home. This was a very desperate and dangerous state of affairs. And Ebenezer Howard, who was the founder of Letchworth, wanted to make this into a dry town, which meant there were no public houses, and as there were no public houses, there was no serving of alcohol. This changed in 1962, much to many people's regrets, including my own. And my own attitude to Letchworth, of course, is rather founded in the fact that, yes, that's me in the pram which my sister is pushing across the zebra crossing in 1947. That was a young Keith Howes, my first public appearance. So I'm very protective of Letchworth Garden City. I actually believe in its ideals. I believe that originally the idea was to have many of these garden cities all across England. And one of the factors that made them so productive was that there's a green belt around Letchworth, and in its early days it grew its own fruit and vegetables, so it wasn't reliant on transport for getting food and vegetables into the town. As for the ideals of Ebenezer Howard, I'm not so sure. Are there garden cities all over Britain? I don't think so. There's only one other one, Wallington Garden City, which is only a few miles away from Letchworth. 2 garden cities in a century. That's not enough, is it? People still want decent places to grow up in. They still want decent places to work in. They don't want to have to queue. They don't want to have to go onto crowded public transport or sit in traffic jams. They would like a decent life, and that's what Letchworth Garden City promised in 1903 and delivered. Well, here I am with my favourite girlfriend. Her name is Sappho, and she was a poet. She lived on a Greek island called Lesbos. Maybe some of you have heard of it. She was the most famous woman of the ancient world. She was a poet, and she was also a teacher. Now, how did she come to Letchworth Garden City? I think she arrived about 1926, and she's been in a variety of locations, and I think it's rather splendid that a town which really was founded on free-thinking ideals should have a statue of the world's most famous lesbian. But there is a story behind this, because around about 1992, Diva, the lesbian magazine, did a story on Sappho and Letchworth Garden City. The weekend after Diva was published, Sappho disappeared. She was taken. Where she was taken, we don't know. But she's back. She's back with us in Letchworth Garden City, and I'm so glad. Where did you go, Sappho? We'll probably never ever know. But look at that beautiful hand. Look at the gracefulness, but also the strength in this woman who influenced so many women all over the world.
Well, my father was in the ARP, for example.
What was that?
It was the, I suppose it was a voluntary thing, you know, we used to, I'll tell you what else we had, 1944 it was, we had the, doodle bugs, they called them, and the things going over, and he was terribly worried that evening, and he came and got me. I was in bed, I was fast asleep, and he got me in the eiderdown and got me down the bottom of the stairs, and then I dropped through the eiderdown, and he took us up to the bank, sort of underneath their place, and he was very worried about them, I know.
Were you scared?
No, I don't think so. I remember our neighbour coming with us, and her teeth were chattering. She was very scared. And yes, oh yes, I remember at Hillshot, my first school, when we had to use corridors as classroom. In my class was 50 people in the class, and we had to go down under the school sort of thing. It was all enclosed when the siren went, and I'd got a little case, and I took pencil and paper games, you know. I was always prepared with everything like that. Oh, I know, the sweet ration we had, we were next door to a sweet shop, and sometimes the ration was £0.75, and the most it was £1.25 for the year, for the month. And I used to save mine up. I used to get it all at once instead of a weekly. And if I went on holiday, I had 3 comics a week. I had Beano Dandy and Film Fun, and I used to keep the previous week's comics so I could take them away with me and all that sort of thing, you know.
You moved away in 1960. What do you miss most about Letchworth?
Well, I suppose probably the cinema, I should think. Out of everything, I'd go more to the cinema, and there's always been, there was 2 here, and now there's 1, but that's a modern one. It's been made into several screens.
Harry, how long have you lived in this beautiful house?
Well, it may be beautiful to you, it's ordinary to us. We've been here 16 years.
And we've got some wonderful old photos of this place. Can you take us through some of them?
Yes, 6 of these were taken by a photographer from Country Life in 1910, and we do have a copy of the magazine. It was classed as one of the lesser houses in Hertfordshire. And the bottom photograph is the owner and designer of the house, Cecil Hignett, his wife and daughter. The middle one, the house was being rethatched as we moved in, so we've had that made up, and it shows the previous occupants of the house, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor.
She was 3 years younger than
That's the Hignet's daughter. She went to medical school when she was young. We understand she had quite a severe breakdown, came home and hardly ever left the house afterwards.
Now this photo here is instantly recognisable. What year was this taken?
1910, so this is one of the country life pictures of 1910.
And what changes have been made to the house since then?
It's been extended, as you look at it, on the right hand side, which put in a dining room, large kitchen and a bedroom and family bathroom upstairs. The top one shows a piece of Hignet furniture which apparently was a family heirloom. It was missing from the house when the Taylors moved in, but you notice 2 small windows on each side of it, and apparently that was designed so the furniture fitted in between it.
And one last question, what do you enjoy most about living here?
I don't become attached to properties because I've lived in so many different ones, but it's a very, very nice house, nice garden which creates hard work, but because Sally likes it so much, I also like it.